Hello, boys and girls. Today is Wednesday, November 4th. And to get started today, we're going to review what we normally would during our circle time in the morning when we come upstairs after breakfast. And what we normally look at are the different things we have of the week. So I showed you the other day that the color of the week has changed. It used to be black, but now it has changed. And I'm going to show it to you. And it starts with the letter O. Orange. Orange is the color of the week. We said some things like pumpkins and oranges are orange. Can you think of anything else that is orange? The shape of the week has 1, 2, 3 sides. Does anybody remember what shape this is? It is a triangle. Very good. And our number of the week is this. Does anybody remember? 4. Can you hold up 4 fingers for me? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to draw 4 dots on here so you can count them with me. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the other thing that we looked at is our letter of the week. Here it is. Does anybody remember what the letter of the week is? P. What sound does the letter P make? P. Can we think of any words that start with the letter P and have the P sound? I have a paper that I usually show you. Let me just grab it real quick. Okay, so this is what we usually look at when we're in the class. P, pail, penny, pizza, pumpkin, popcorn. Anything else you can think of? Somebody yesterday said pancakes. That's also a great answer. And then I have a picture here that I'm going to show you. Pillow. We're going to be looking at that here in just a couple minutes. So moving on, normally after we do that, we talk about our pet study. We've been talking about pets for several weeks now. And this week we're talking about how do we take care of our pets. And so I'm going to move up now to the front of the room, and I'm going to bring you with me so you can see. Now, if you look at our room, Miss Donna and I have been cleaning. So there is stuff just everywhere. So if you were at school today and I said to you, find a place to sit, but don't move anything that I have sitting around the room, where would you sit? Where would you go? How would you find your seat? It is really important to make sure that when we are done using this stuff, we put it back where it goes. And I think that Miss Donna and I are still kind of in the process of that. We're cleaning to clean. So once we're done cleaning, then we can put this stuff away and kind of organize our room a little bit. Which leads me to the question of the day, and that is, which one of these would we use to clean our classroom? And that's where this comes in, the pillow. Would we use a pillow to clean our classroom? Or would we use this to clean our classroom? This is a mop. And I think if I were going to clean the classroom, I would probably use a mop, not a pillow. That's just silly. That's something that we would use if we go to bed at night to sleep on, a pillow. So aside from a mop, what are some other things that we might be able to use to clean our room? I'm going to make a list as we talk about it. So we already have a mop. What else do you think we could use? Maybe a broom. Oh gosh, my handwriting looks terrible. Fix that a little bit. A broom, or maybe a sweeper. We were going to sweep the carpet. A broom, a sweeper. We might need some rags, maybe. We want to wipe stuff down. Some cleaner. So a lot of the times when we finish having lunch here at school, we have different cleaner. After you leave the table, we used it to clean up. So rags, cleaner. Anything else that you can think of that we might use here to clean the room? I'm sure there's a lot of different things. So that kind of leads me into having a messy room, making sure we clean it up. How do you think our pet feels when its cage isn't clean? Do you think they like that? Do you think it feels good? So whenever I have to put my puppy in her cage, if it's messy, do you think that makes her feel happy or sad? Well, think about it this way. How do you feel when you couldn't use your space up there because Miss Donna and I have stuff everywhere and it was messy? How did that make you feel? You just probably wanted to go sit in your seat, but there was stuff everywhere, so you weren't able to. What can we do to make sure that we are keeping our pets' habitat clean? So, like Miss Donna and I, when we're finished doing what we're doing up there, we're going to finish cleaning. And so that way, when you come back to school, you can go find your seat and you don't have to worry about it. The same thing should be happening for our pets. We want to make sure that they have a clean space that's not cluttered or messy for whenever they go into it. So, what can we do to make sure that it's clean? We could, if they had an accident in their crate or their cage, we make sure we keep it clean. For my dog, I keep a blanket in there for her, so I could just make sure I keep the blanket washed so it doesn't smell and it's kind of nice. Every once in a while, I'll just kind of like clean the cage out. If they shred like a toy or something in there, just pick up the stuff. Just try to keep it neat and tidy. And much like the pet's cage, when you're here at school, in the classroom, it's important for you to make sure that you're keeping your area clean as well. So when you're playing with toys after playtime, you have to pick them all up and put them away so that, people aren't tramping on them or tripping over them, and everybody can navigate around the room safely. And so we're going to talk about a word. Well, I'm going to show you two words, actually. The first word is organize. And it starts with an O. Organize. Let me get this up here and I'll show you. Organize. Does anybody know what organize means? Have you ever heard that word before? It's a way of keeping things stored so they're easy to find. So if I would ask you to go find your crayons, you know that your storage, your craft kit is in your cubby. So you know exactly where to go to find your crayons because you keep them in an organized spot instead of just throwing them somewhere randomly in the room and not being able to find them. Being organized is a very helpful way to make sure that you're able to find your things. Another one is another word that I wanted to show you, which you've probably heard before, is cleanse. It starts with the letter C. Cleanse. And cleanse is just another word for wash. So if you ever hear somebody say, I'm going to cleanse the room, I'm going to wash the room or wash things in the room or around the room. So that is pretty much it as far as the big pets study goes. But then I also have this activity. It's a poem. And we talked about poems the other day, and those are sometimes they have rhyming words in them. So while I'm reading this, see if you can listen for the rhyming words, and maybe we can come up with a couple more rhyming words. I'm a careless fellow, and this is what I do. I make a mess and won't clean up. I leave it up to you. I throw my garbage in the street. I will not keep my class neat. I drop my wrappers on the floor. I pitch my tissues out the door. But I'm very sad, you see, because no one will play with me. They call me little monster. How can that be? Oh, please, my friend, won't you help me? So before we look at the rhyming words, what do you think the litter monster needs to know about keeping things clean and neat? Maybe not just in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom. Sometimes people throw garbage on the streets and stuff, and that is just not nice. So how could we teach little monster not to do that? Do we have any ideas? Maybe we could show little monster nice ways to take care of their toys and clean up after them. We could show them what to do, show them how to clean something up, show them where the garbage is. Could also give them high fives and thumbs up whenever they do a good job. Encourage them. So now I'm going to read that one more time, and this time we're going to listen for the rhyming words. I'm going to say them loud so you can hear them. I'm a careless fellow, and this is what I do. I make a mess and won't clean up. I leave it up to you. I throw my garbage in the street. I will not keep my classroom neat. I drop my wrappers on the floor. I pitch my tissues out the door. But I'm very sad, you see, because no one will play with me. They call me little monster. How can that be? Oh, please, my friend, won't you please help me? So in the first part, do and you. Can you think of any other words that rhyme with do and you? And in the second part, there was street and neat. Can you think of anything else that rhymes with street and neat? Feet, sheet, beat, cleat. There's a whole bunch of them. What about the next one was floor and door? Can you think of any other words that have that same ending sound? Floor, door, shore, chore, cure. Those are a couple good ones. And then the last one had many rhymes. It has see, me, be, and me again. Can we think of anything else that rhymes with see, me, be, tree, flee, key? Be like a bumblebee. Those are just to name a few. So while you're at home, you could be practicing other rhyming words with your parents. So then the next thing that's kind of pet related and has to do with taking care of your things is, I have a book to read to you today. And it is called, let me throw this over here. It is called Sam Who Never Forgets. And it's written by Eve Rice. And that's the person who wrote the story. I don't see an illustrator's name in here, but an illustrator is the person who does the pictures for the book. And so this is the front of the book and the back of the book. And when you hold the book, you hold it this way and you only open one page at a time and you flip open. Doesn't look like there's anything there. So let's move to the next page. There we go. It has it again. Sam Who Never Forgets by Eve Rice. There's a picture of an elephant and a man with some balloons. I'm kind of wondering what this story is going to be about. You can always look at the pictures in the story too if we want to get ideas. So if you look here, there's a clown on the first page, and on the second page it looks like there's a hot dog stand and a grandma and a little boy. I wonder where they are. We could maybe take a guess. It says in the park. And this little boy, his balloon says visit the zoo. So we could kind of use those as a clue. There's also this little arrow right here that says zoo. In the park, the zoo clock strikes 3. And every day at 3 o'clock, Sam, the zookeeper, feeds the animals. Sam never forgets. So it looks like we're at the zoo now, and Sam is cleaning, which is something else we've talked about today. He's cleaning at the zoo. Sam fills his wagon with good things for the animals to eat, and then he is on his way. So you can see he's putting all that food in there for the animals. Now he's going to start walking through the zoo. Do you think he's going to make any more stops, or do you think he's going to just go start feeding the animals? Which animal do you think Sam is going to feed first in this story? Good afternoon, Giraffe, says Sam. I have lovely green leaves for your dinner, and that is just what Giraffe likes best. Thank you, says Giraffe, and Sam is gone. Now let's look at the next picture to see if we can guess what animal Sam is going to feed next. Hello, monkeys, says Sam, and hands them yellow bananas. Splendid, says the monkeys. Sam never forgets. Next is Seal. Sam throws him fish. Deliciously good, barks the seal. You can see there's the seal right there, and he's feeding him a fish. And then comes Bear, who loves red berries. Sam always brings him some. You can see these animals are all in enclosures too, and I bet Sam has to help keep their enclosures clean. Sam feeds the hungry crocodiles next. Look, there's a balloon in the enclosure. What's this over here? A bird. That's probably not good to have in there. I bet somebody is probably going to have to clean that out. And long-legged ostrich. Ostrich? Looks like eating some plants, maybe. He gives fresh meat to the lion. And oats to quiet zebra. And then Sam's wagon is empty, and off he goes. Feeding zebra, and now he's all done. He's leaving. Uh-oh. What do you think happened? But Elephant has not been fed. Wonder how that makes him feel. Hungry. Probably sad too. Brought him. And poor Elephant, who is very hungry, bellows, "Did you forget? Oh, Sam, did you forget?" And all the animals are very sorry for hungry Elephant. But just as a tear starts to fall from Elephant's eye, just as Elephant starts to cry, Sam calls out, "Forget? I never forget." And there Sam is with a wagon full of golden hay. Oh, Elephant, it's just that you're so awfully big and you do eat such a lot. I think he had to go empty the wagon so he could fit it all in there. It says, so I brought you a wagon of your own. So he gets a whole wagon full of golden hay. Elephant smiles. You didn't forget, and I do so love fresh hay. Elephant hugs Sam. Thank you, Sam. And Sam hugs the elephant. And just so no one should ever forget, just so everyone always remembers, elephant trumpets. Hooray for Sam! Sam, who never forgets. And that's the end. So that was a good story because it talks about pets and taking care of them and cleaning, which is something we talked about today. So in the story, Sam's going through the zoo and he is feeding the different animals. And so the next thing that I have for you is something we're going to talk about nutrition. And nutrition are like the good things that you should be eating to stay healthy. So first of all, I wanted to show you these. So when you're at school or if you're at home, I'm going to lower this down a little bit. We have these different things that you use when you eat. So everybody has a plate. And then usually we'll put your napkin here. And you get a spoon and a fork and a cup. And so if you're setting up your table at home, you can practice, maybe ask an adult in your house if you can practice setting the table up. You want to put your plate in the middle, your silverware on one side, and you could put your cup on the other side. And sometimes if you have a knife, you would put your fork and your knife on one side and your spoon on the other side. But you can always ask your parents or an adult how they prefer it and maybe see if they'll let you set the table up. And so we're going to pretend that we're going to have our friends over for dinner. And I want you to think about what you might make for your friends when they come over. So think about what you're going to serve for your dinner for when your friends come over. And so since this is a recording, you can't answer, but you can always draw me a picture of what you would make, and you can have somebody send a picture to me so I can see what you thought of. One thing to consider are having healthy food choices. So do you think like having your friends over and just eating cake is a good idea? Or candy or lollipops? No, you want to have a good dinner so your friends will want to come back and eat again. So I made this for you to see, and these are healthy eating habits. And so everybody should always have a fruit and a vegetable, a grain, a protein, some water. Take a look at that. And this dairy right here. So at school, sometimes we always have milk, but if we are not thirsty for milk, then we can have some water. And so what would be like some vegetables that we've had here at school or that you have at home? What are some vegetables? Like green beans, carrots, peas, corn. Those are all kinds of vegetables. And fruits, I know we have those every day with all of our meals. We have fruit. Sometimes we have peaches or pears, strawberries or other berries my friends like, watermelon. There's all different kinds of fruits also. Whole grain, so that here they show you a picture of bread. So bread could be like oats, like when we have cereal for breakfast, or oatmeal. Those are types of grains. And protein could be fish or meat or chicken, eggs, anything like that is what you would consider a protein. And then dairy can come in the form of milk, but you can also get dairy from cheeses and things like that. So if you were going to make a healthy meal for you and your friends, what are some things that you would have in your healthy meal? Like I said, you can just draw me a picture of it, or You can talk with somebody in your house about what you would make for your healthy meal. And then the last thing, boys and girls, that we've been doing this week is we've been talking about community helpers. And so today I have these papers cut out and I have different pictures. Let me just put these ones on the table in front of me. I'm going to lower the screen again so you can see. Okay, now this is a firefighter, a garbage man, a baker, and a farmer. So if we look at all of those, so I'm going to read you some of these sentences, and you should have this in your stuff at home if you want to work on it. And so I want you to tell me, out of these people that I have here, who would say, I collect garbage. Who am I? Is it this one? This one? This one? Or this one? The garbage man, right? So then I'm going to stick that one here beside that. The next one says, I fight fires. Who am I? Take a look. I fight fires. Who am I? Very good. The firefighter fights fires. So I have these two left, the baker and the farmer. This one says, I bake bread. Who am I? That would be this one, which only leaves one left for this paper, and it says, I work on a farm. Who am I? And I think by looking at these pictures here, that's the right one. So very good job with that. This time I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna give you a couple more pictures to look at, and then you have to figure out which one is which. So that looks like it's a doctor. This one looks like a crossing guard. So a crossing guard is somebody that would help you like cross the street. Here at school, we have the light. When we walk over to the park where we have to push a button, if we don't have that and it's a school area, sometimes they have someone that stands out in the street and stops traffic and waves them through. This one is a news reporter. And then this one is a teacher, a dentist, this person here is a military person. So that would be somebody that goes to fight in wars. And then lastly is this one, and that one is a doctor. So I'm going to read you the clues and you tell me which person it goes to. The first one is, I teach students. Who am I? Move this up so you can see it a little bit better. I teach students. Who am I? That's a teacher. Good job. The next one, I clean your teeth. Who am I? That would be the dentist. Very good job. The next one says, I fight for my country. Who am I? That would be somebody in the military. So that could be somebody that's in the Army, the Navy, the Marines, any type of military service. Good job. You're doing great. See if we can figure out these last ones. This one says, I take care of you when you are sick. Who am I? That would be the doctor. Go see the doctor when you don't feel good. I help the doctor. Who here would help a doctor? The nurse. Very good. I report news. Who am I? The news reporter. Very good. I help children cross the street safely. I have seen policemen do that, but in this case, that's the only job this person has is to help people cross the street safely. And you can see she's holding a sign that says stop. And lastly, I help to keep our streets safe. Who am I? And that would be a police officer. That's what police officers do, is they help keep everybody safe. If there's an emergency, we call 911 and they can send the police or they can send a firefighter to help. That is all I have for you today, boys and girls. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you on the live Zoom meeting soon, and have a good night. Bye.